Megasaurus 55 is getting to grips with the Porsche 908 LH in this practice session. Eric Wolfs has a best lap time of 2:21.104. It's a lovely day for racing here at Longford 1960s as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. It's all about finding that sweet spot during these sessions. Like tuning a didgeridoo, but way faster.
Haha, and a lot noisier. But you're right, in Indy, we fine-tune until it feels just right. Every lap here is a step towards perfection.
Let's talk rubber. Tire pressures ain't just about pumping them up and hitting the road. Eat a Euro S like a fine art.
Couldn't have said it better. Tire pressures can dramatically impact the contact patch a Euro, the actual bit of tire touching the tarmac. Too high and you lose temperature and grip, too low, and you risk overheating, uneven wear or even a blowout. Each tire will have its own sweet spot where they grip best.
Wayne P is on their practice out lap. Jerry Yu is on their first practice flying lap. Eric Wolfs posted a 22:12.974 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? It's a lovely day for racing here at Longford 1960s as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Roll Postmo is on their practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Longford 1960s as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Roll post mode is on their practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Longford 1960s as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Sunoiler Armin is on their practice out lap. Hey Hal, you reckon these drivers ever get tired of going round and round during practice?
Well, Rob, repetition is the key. Every lap gives you data, insights, and an edge over the competition.
So, for those tuning in and wondering what's the go with these practice sessions, well, it ain't just about flexing their engines. It's about synergy, mate. Getting the driver, the car, and the track to sing in harmony.
Couldn't have put it better. We liken it to rehearsing a dance. Every step, every turn must be practiced until it's second nature on the big stage.
Eric Wolfs posted 2:24.570 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Jury U has a best lap time of 2:23.991. It's a lovely day for racing here at Longford 1960s as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. With just 278 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Sunoiler Armin is on their practice out lap. Jury U posted a 2:26.413 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Sunoiler Armin is in water tower. Eric Wolfs has a best lap time of 2:21.104. Ever heard the pit crew chat about wheel camber? Sounds like a dance move, but trust me, it's all car talk.
Haha, yeah, camber is the angle of the wheel relative to the road. A bit of negative camber €, where the top of the tire leans inwards €, can give more grip in the corners. But too much and you're looking at premature wear on the inside of the tire. It's a balancing act, and each track requires its own setting.
You know, mate, some folks wonder why these drivers spend so much time in practice. But it's just like prepping a Barbie, you gotta get it right before the big show.
Exactly. Rob, practice makes perfect, and in racing, perfect can be the difference between pole position and the back of the grid.
Eric Wolfs has a best lap time of 2:21.104. Wayne P is getting to grips with the Porsche 908 LH in this practice session. With just 273 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. It's a lovely day for racing here at Longford 1960s as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Sunoiler Armin posted a 2:21.793 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Eric Wolfs posted 7:54.902 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Wayne P is on their first practice flying lap. Sunoiler Armin has a best lap time of 2:21.793. With just 271 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Mate, these drivers are in a Euro T just burning rubber for the fun of it. They're chasing the ghost, that perfect lap that's always just out of reach.
Absolutely. Back in my racing days, I used to call it chasing the dragon. It's that feeling when you know there's still a little more in the tank, a fraction of a second to be found.
These practices, mate, they're like a kangaroo finding its best hop. Once you've got it, you are Euro unstoppable.
Couldn't a Euro T have put it better? Finding the perfect launch is all about repetition and adjustments.
Sunoiler Armin has a best lap time of 2:21.793. Colin Mack is on their practice out lap. Wayne P is on their first practice flying lap. Eric Wolf's posted a 2:33.775 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Marcus Schmitz posted 28 to 48.167 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Sunoiler Armin has a best lap time of 2:21.793. With just 266 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Wayne P is getting to grips with the Porsche 908 LH in this practice session. Boy, these practices Arena Euro T just a walkabout in the park. It's here that races are often won or lost.
Absolutely. Back home in North Carolina, we emphasize the setup. A few tweaks during practice can lead to major gains on race day.
In these sessions, they're not just pushing the car's limits, but their own too. Testing their mettle, seeing how far they can go before the big dance.
Exactly. It's a mental game as much as a physical one. Balancing aggression with precision, daring with data. It's an art and a science.
Colin Mack is on their first practice flying lap. Wayne P is getting to grips with the Porsche 908 LH in this practice session. Sunoila Arman has a best lap time of 2:21.793. Marcus Schmitz posted a 2:24.458 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Colin Mack posted 3:11.524 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? With just 262 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Wayne P is getting to grips with the Porsche 908 LH in this practice session. Marcus Schmitz has a best lap time of 2:22.914. Colin Mack has a best lap time of 3:11.524. You know, mate, watching these practice sessions, you'd think the driver just jumps in and goes. But there's a heck of a lot more to it. Starting with that aero package, a Euro, the balance between drag and downforce.
Oh, for sure. You tweak the front wing just a smidge, and you could have a totally different beast on your hands. Depending on the track, they might want more downforce for those tight corners or reduce it for the long straights to maximize speed.
It's all about finding that sweet spot during these sessions. Like tuning a didgeridoo, but way faster.
Haha, and a lot noisier. But you're right, in Indy, we fine-tune until it feels just right. Every lap here is a step towards perfection.
Colin Mack posted a 3:08.214 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? With just 259 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Jury U posted 2:45.839 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Wayne P has a best lap time of 3:14.891. It's a lovely day for racing here at Longford 1960s as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Myco Huck 1 is on their practice out lap. Eric Wolf's posted a 9:38.099 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? It's a lovely day for racing here at Longford 1960s as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. There are just over 255 minutes left in this practice session. Mate, sometimes I reckon the pit wall looks like they're controlling a spaceship with all those dials and knobs.
You're not wrong. Each of those adjustments, from brake bias to differential settings, has a profound effect on car behavior. It's like tuning a guitar, but instead of strings, you're tweaking mechanical symphonies to get the car singing just right on the track.
Megasaurus 55 has a best lap time of 2:20.840. Jack M team is on their practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Longford 1960s as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Jack M team is in viaduct. With just 253 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Jack M team is on their first practice flying lap. Myco Huck 1 has a best lap time of 2:23.154. Megasaurus 55 posted a 302.809 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Colin Mack posted 707.261 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? So, for those tuning in and wondering what's the go with these practice sessions, well, it ain't just about flexing their engines. It's about synergy, mate. Getting the driver, the car, and the track to sing in harmony.
Couldn't have put it better. We liken it to rehearsing a dance. Every step, every turn must be practiced until it's second nature on the big stage.
Ever heard the pit crew chat about wheel camber? Sounds like a dance move, but trust me, it's all car talk.
Haha, yeah, camber is the angle of the wheel relative to the road. A bit of negative camber €, where the top of the tire leans inwards €, can give more grip in the corners. But too much and you're looking at premature wear on the inside of the tire. It's a balancing act, and each track requires its own setting.
With just 249 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Eddie G has a best lap time of 8:41.735. Megasaurus 55 posted a 226.809 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Colin Mack has a best lap time of 3:08.214. With just 247 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Jack M Team posted 2:30.178 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Eric Wolf's posted a 224.223 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Richard Rossier is on their practice out lap. It's a bit like looking for water in the outback. These drivers are searching for that sweet rhythm, where everything just clicks.
Spot on. It's that elusive flow state. When everything syncs up a euro, the car, the track, the driver a euro, that's when magic happens.
Hey Hal, you reckon these drivers ever get tired of going round and round during practice?
Well, Rob, repetition is the key. Every lap gives you data, insights, and an edge over the competition.
It's a lovely day for racing here at Longford 1960s as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Wayne P has a best lap time of 2:33.023. Richard Rossier is getting to grips with the Porsche 908 LH in this practice session. With just 243 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Megasaurus 55 has a best lap time of 2:20.840. Eddie G posted 2:25.755 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Rolf Biber is on their practice out lap. Richard Rossier is in Kingsbridge. Let's talk rubber. Tire pressures ain't just about pumping them up and hitting the road. Eat a Euro S like a fine art.
Couldn't have said it better. Tire pressures can dramatically impact the contact patch Euro, the actual bit of tire touching the tarmac. Too high and you lose temperature and grip, too low, and you risk overheating, uneven wear or even a blowout. Each tire will have its own sweet spot where they grip best.
These practices, mate, they're like a kangaroo finding its best hop. Once you've got it, you are Euro unstoppable.
Couldn't a Euro T have put it better? Finding the perfect launch is all about repetition and adjustments.
The anticipation is high as the drivers line up for the qualifying session at Longford 1960s. Impressive work from Richard Rossier, who has claimed third on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position. A solid qualifying performance by Wayne P, positioning them in 5th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners.
Absolutely, Rob. Wayne P has put in a remarkable effort to secure 5th. The competition is fierce, and they'll need to stay focused to defend their position.
Jerry Yu has positioned themselves well in 6th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start.
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. Jorg Yu's current position of 6th is a testament to their skill and determination. Now, they must stay sharp to make the most of this opportunity.
Not the ideal start for Eddie G in this qualifying session. Currently in 11th position, they'll be eager to put together a strong final lap to improve their standing. The pressure is on, and they'll need to deliver their best performance.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Eddie G might be disappointed with their current position, but there's still time to make a difference. They'll need to remain composed, analyze the data, and push themselves to the limit to improve their qualifying result.
What a performance from Eric Wolfs. They currently occupy 7th on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favorable starting spot? Richard Rossier has completed their outlap. Richard Rossier has completed their outlap. Impressive display by Sunoiler Armin, currently sitting. Sunoiler Armin has completed their outlap. And there goes Rolf Biber, currently in position 2. Rolf Biber has completed their outlap. A strong showing from Sunoiler Armin as they currently sit in 3rd. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. Incredible drive by Richard Rossier so far, earning them 5th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up? Sunoiler Armin has put in a great effort and currently holds 7th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position?
You're spot on, Rob. Sunoiler Armin's current position of 7th is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
A solid performance from Richard Rossier as they currently hold position 6. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid.
Absolutely, Rob. Richard Rossier has shown great potential to secure 6th. It's now a matter of channeling that momentum into a strong performance during the race.
Richard Rossier has completed their outlap. Currently in 5th, Jerry Yu has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position.
Couldn't agree more, Rob. Your Yu has positioned themselves impressively in 5th. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even.
Jerry Yu has just completed a lap in 2:22.089. Let's see if they can improve on their time further. Eric Wolfs has secured a respectable 6th in the qualifying set. Eric Wolfs has just completed that lap in 2:21.798. Their best lap so far is 2:21.798, putting them in P3. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? Impressive work from Marcus Schmitz, who has claimed 6th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Marcus Schmitz's current position of 6th reflects their strong qualifying performance. Now, they'll need to strategize and capitalize on this starting position.
Marcus Schmitz has completed their first flying lap in 2:21.601. There are just over 20 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 20 minutes left in this qualification session. Jack M team has just completed a lap in 2:24.058. Let's see if they can improve on their time further. What a performance from Eric Wolfs. They currently occupy 6th on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favourable starting spot? And there goes Sunoila Armin, currently in position 3. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result. Sunoila Armin has just completed that lap in 2:21.142. Their best lap so far is 2:21.111, putting them in P3. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? It's an impressive showing by Maiko Hak1, currently in 2nd. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher? Maiko Hak1 has completed their first flying lap in 2:19.268. A challenging session for Colin Mack so far. They're currently in 13th position, which is not where they wanted to be. But in motorsport, we've seen remarkable comebacks, and they'll be hoping to turn their fortunes around and secure a better result. There are just over 15 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 15 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 15 minutes left in this qualification session. Incredible drive by Richard Rossier so far, earning them 10th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up? A solid qualifying performance by Rolf Biber, positioning them in 5th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Rolf Biber has done a fantastic job to claim 5th. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
Rolf Biber will be happy having put themselves into 2nd in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
Sunoiler Armin has put in a great effort and currently holds fourth. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position? Sunoiler Armin will be happy having put themselves into third in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. I'm sure they can find a little extra in there.
Richard Rossier has positioned themselves well in 10th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start.
Spot on analysis, Rob. Richard Rossier has positioned themselves well in 10th. It's now crucial for them to maintain their focus and defend their...
Richard Rossier has some work to do as the 222.647 is only good enough for 9th. It hasn't been the best qualifying session for Colin Mack so far. They find themselves in 13th position, which is not where they had hoped to be. However, there's still time left on the clock, and they have the opportunity to make improvements. Colin Mack has just completed a lap in 241.508. Let's see if they can improve on their time further. A strong showing from Megasaurus 55 as they currently sit in 7th. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. A tough qualifying session for Chris Ilduke. They're currently mired in 14th position, which is a setback for their ambitions. However, they have the resilience and determination to learn from their mistakes and fight back in the race. A disappointing performance from Simon B so far in this qualifying session. Finding themselves in 13th position is certainly not what they were aiming for. However, they have the talent and experience to bounce back and salvage a better result. Simon B has just completed that lap in 2:40.481. Their best lap so far is 2:40.481, putting them in P13. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? It's been a struggle for Chris Ilduke in qualifying. As of now, they find themselves in 15th position, which is well below their expectations. However, motorsport is unpredictable, and there's still an opportunity for them to shine and move up the grid.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Chris Ilduke is facing a tough challenge, but they are known for their fighting spirit. This qualifying session is a test of their character, and I believe they have what it takes to overcome this setback.
A tough outing for Wayne P in qualifying today. They currently sit in 16th position, which is far from ideal. However, there's a chance for them to regroup, analyze their data, and make some adjustments to their setup to improve their result. Wayne P has completed their outlap. What an impressive performance from Maiko Huck-1. They are currently leading the pack in this qualification session, showing incredible pace and skill. It's a commanding position for them, and they have set the bar high for their competitors.
Spot-on analysis, Rob. Maiko Huck-1 is currently in a dominant position, setting the standard for their rivals. Their consistent and impressive performance is setting them up for a strong starting position.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Andreas Dittmann has completed their outlap. Impressive display by Megasaurus 55, currently sitting in position 7. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position.
You're spot on, Rob. Megasaurus 55's current position of 7th is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
Megasaurus 55 will be happy having put themselves into 5th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
Disappointing performance from Eddie G in this qualifying session. Currently in 11th position, they'll need to dig deep and find some extra speed to climb up the leaderboard and secure a better starting position for the race.
Well said, Rob. It's certainly not the result Eddie G was aiming for, but this is motorsport, and anything can happen. They'll need to stay focused, trust in their abilities, and seize any chance that comes their way to improve their position.
Currently in 8th, Jury Yu has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position. It's been a challenging day for Chris Il-Duke in qualifying. They currently sit in 16th position, which is not reflective of their true potential. With the session nearing its end, they'll need to push hard and extract every ounce of performance to improve their result. Chris Ilduke has completed their outlap. Jerry Yu has secured a respectable 8th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance?
Absolutely, Rob. Your Yu has put in a remarkable effort to secure 8th. The competition is fierce, and they'll need to stay focused to defend their position.
Jerry Yu has some work to do, as that 520.992 is only good enough for 8th. And there goes Megasaurus 55, currently in position 5. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
I completely agree, Rob. Megasaurus 55 has positioned themselves impressively in 5th. However, it's crucial for them to keep pushing to potentially improve their starting position.
There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Longford 1960s, as we're getting ready to get things underway. Micah Huck 1 will be looking to convert their pole position into a win.
But they can't let their guard down. The other drivers will be gunning for them.
We're seeing Rolf Biber in the second spot.
But they're going to have to be quick out of the blocks if they want to keep up with the top performers.
In the third position, we have Sunoila Arman ready to tackle the race ahead. Roel Postma will begin the race from the fourth spot on the starting grid.
Roel Postma will be ready to show what they're made of.
On the fifth grid slot, we have Megasaurus 55. In the middle of the pack, we have Eric Wolf starting from the sixth position on the grid.
Who knows? They could be the dark horse that steals the show.
Jury U is lining up 7th. Starting from 8th on the grid is a good position for Richard Rossier to launch an attack.
What can we expect from the Swiss driver?
Our 9th place starter, Jack M. Team, is a driver who knows how to make up ground on the track. As the engines roar to life, Eddie G prepares to take off from the 10th position on the starting grid. Wayne P is 11th.
The English driver will want to show what they're made of today.
Andreas Dittmann will need to be on top of their game starting from 12th on the grid. Starting from 13th on the grid is the green luminescence beckons in Odyssey. As they hustle and jostle, it's a dance of the intellect and instinct.
Right here, right now, it's about avoiding those fender benders and staying in the mix. Nobody wants to start their race with a hiccup.
These early salvos will shape the outcome of this race. Well, ain't that a slice of vanilla? Maiko Huck 1 sitting pretty right where they started. Comfy as a koala in a eucalyptus tree. I think passing is going to be difficult today here at Longford 1960s, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on. This is going to be one hell of a race, I can already feel it. All the drivers will be trying to take advantage of the pack whilst they're still bunched up. Well, slap me with a kangaroo tail. Marcus Schmitz has chucked AUEY on the leaderboard, going up faster than beer prices on a Friday night.
That's one way to make a statement. Alright, but let's see if they've got the grit to hold on.
Marcus Schmitz just blitzed past Simon B like they were standing still.
I've always said, it's not the car, it's the driver. And Marcus Schmitz is proving that point right.
By the looks of it, Megasaurus 55 in 4th is keen to throw another shrimp on the barbie and crank up the heat on Roll Postma. Hold on to your stubbies. Big gains for Megasaurus 55 as they move up the field, leaving Roll Postma behind.
Someone shook the board?
Seems so. Megasaurus 55's taken a slide, but knowing them, it's just a part of the dance. As rubber meets road and strategy meets luck, Megasaurus 55 is etching their story in 3rd. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Eric Wolfs is chasing Roll Postma in P4.
The rubber's burning, the crowd's yearning, and Eric Wolfs' engine is churning to get past Roll Postma.
Looks like Megasaurus 55's car has turned into a mobile, no vacancy sign, and Richard Rossier is looking for a room. You won't find cheap rent here. Braking update. Looks like Eddie G is coming into the pits early. Now is that to serve a penalty or have they picked up some damage during the start?
Well, races can be won or lost in the pits, but in this case it's all bad news for Eddie G. That's going to be tough to come back from.
Oh mate, jury U's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the barbie.
It's going to be tough for Jorg Yu, as Eric Wolfs seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Jorg Yu pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
Hope Sunoiler Armin hasn't got stage fright, because Megasaurus 55's booked a front row seat to the show.
Well, shucks. Sunoiler Armin might want to drop a gear or two. Megasaurus 55's breathing down their exhaust like they're trying to catch a high off a tailpipe.
Megasaurus 55 is on a mission, chasing Sunoiler Armin, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Pricky, Myco Huck 1's got more ground to cover than I do at the family barbecue when Auntie Sharon's had one too many. Good luck, mate. Myco Huck 1 is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Rolf Biber to 0.9 seconds. The gap might be more than a second, but Megasaurus 55 is showing persistence. Breaking news, folks. Looks like Colin Mack tried the old "dingo stole my race line" trick. A tad too clever by half. It's like watching a cheetah chase its prey. Eddie's got Simon B in their crosshairs.
The tension between Eddie G and Simon B is palpable as they battle for P13. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
Breaking update. Looks like Wayne P forgot they weren't at Bondi Beach, taking a dive like that. Myco Huck 1 is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. Who will be able to maintain their pace and come out on top?
We've seen overtakes, close calls, and pure racing genius today. Currently, Colin Mack has carved out a spot at 12th. Hold on a moment. Oof, Simon B misjudged that corner like I misjudged my last relationship. Too fast, too soon. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Myco Huck 1 will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. Hold on a second. Well, Sunoiler Armin's spinning like my life in 2020. Someone get him a map, or a therapist. Look at this. Eddie G is practically drafting off Colin Mack. With the gap this small, Kingsbridge is going to be a real test.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Eddie G gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
Now that's how it's done. Eddie G rips through the track, while Colin Mack watches the tail lights fade. You know, Rob, these pit stops always amaze me. Just a few seconds, and they change tires, refuel, adjust settings. It's like a well-choreographed dance.
Absolutely, and the precision. One slight misstep, and it could cost the race. It's an art and a testament to the pit crew's relentless training and coordination.
Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Disappointing for Eddie G. They now find themselves in 13th.
Yes, but they can't give up. There's still plenty of time left in this race, and Eddie G needs to stay focused and keep pushing.
Look at that. Myco Huck 1 is hot on the tail of Rolf Biber.
I think they are going to take them.
Bloody oath, Myco Huck 1 is flat out like a lizard drinking, gnawing into the gap to Rolf Biber down to a scant 0.5 seconds.
Lukey here. Myco Huck 1's got the optimal differential settings, allowing for tighter corner exits. It's like watching a cat chase a laser pointer when they chase Rolf Biber.
Mate, Myco Huck 1's really giving it a burl out there. Ripping it up like a croc in a waterhole.
I tell ya, I haven't seen that kind of ferocity since my days at Indy. But you Aussies, always gotta bring up the wildlife, huh?
Every move counts now as Myco Huck 1 works to reel in Rolf Biber and overtake for P1. Myco Huck 1's falling behind Rolf Biber at a rate of knots. They're going to need some serious pedal power to close the gap. Breaking news, folks. Myco Huck 1's duffed it up. They're gonna need more than a coldie to forget that one.
Sweet cornbread. Myco Huck 1 must have thought there's a Walmart sale off the track the way they went off.
Myco Huck 1 wants to get into Roll Postma slipstream. Would y'all look at that gap? Simon B's got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger.
I've seen funeral processions move faster than Simon B right now. Come to think of it, at least they've got a destination in mind.
Oof, if Wayne P was a kangaroo, they'd be roadkill by now. Come on, mate, put some pep in that step.
Lord have mercy. Wayne P's got more space between him and Andreas Dittmann than my pod got between his ears. But miracles do happen. Just ask my ex-wife.
Looks like Andreas Dittmann is legging it from Wayne P. The gap's growing like a well-watered wattle as breaking alert. Oi.
Is it just me or?
Nah, mate, Roll Postma really just took the scenic route through the outback of Longford 1960s. Crikey.
Whoa, Roel Postma's pulling at me at a family gathering, aimlessly veering, hoping no one notices.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Jack M team trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Richard Rossier. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? It seems like Jack M team is pushing. They are on for recording their best lap so far this race.
Can Jack M team keep it together?
The gap between Eddie G and Wayne P is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Eddie G to even allow Wayne P to get a look in. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Things don't look to be going Wayne P's way, as already they are into the pits. Look at Jack M team trying to close the gap on Richard Rossier. Kind of like me trying to get close to a decent Barbie back home.
Barbie? Oh, you mean a barbecue. Yeah, but over here it's like trying to catch the last slice of pizza at a Super Bowl party.
The strategy plays such a crucial role, doesn't it? Choosing when to pit, what tire compound to use. It's like a high-speed chess game out there.
Exactly. And to think they're making these decisions on the fly, with so many variables at play. It's a mix of intuition, experience, and sheer guts. Kudos to the team strategists and drivers alike.
There's no escape now. Jack M team is breathing fire and has locked onto Richard Rossier's tail. The intensity is off the charts as Roll Postma hounds Megasaurus 55, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. The gap between Eddie G in 11th and Andreas Dittmann remains over a second, but Eddie G is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close the gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 77 minutes? Tell ya what, Roll Postma's trailing harder than my belt after Christmas dinner. Reckon he's got a plan up his sleeve, or is he just here for the sausage sizzle? As the laps tick by, Wayne P finds themselves in 12th. Every moment counts.
Indeed, but in the fast lane, there's no time to relax. Wayne P's grip on 12th will be tested.
Like a dingo on the chase, Colin Mack is hounding Wayne P and the gap's now just 2.5 seconds.
Wayne P's really got their work cut out now. Can they find the speed to fend off Colin Mack, or will we see a new leader in this race?
Coming into the flying mile, the fight for fifth is heating up. Who will be the first to blink? Crikey, Roll Postma's moving up faster than a cold one disappears on a hot day. They've clinched fifth. It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
Now, that's some driving, y'all. Jack M team is putting the pressure on Richard Rosier. It's like watching a cat stalk a bird. They're inching closer with every turn.
Looks like Rolf Biber is coming in hot. They're approaching that turn way too fast.
I'm not sure what Rolf Biber is thinking, Rob. That's just bad driving.
Every race has its highs and lows. Today, Rolf Biber acquaints themselves with a new perspective at 11th. This chase is as intense as a cricket match during the Ashes.
Cricket? I thought that was just a noisy bug. But seriously, it's like Game 7 of the World Series here.
It's not coming up roses for Megasaurus 55. They're trailing Roll Postma and the gap's on the rise. They don't seem to have a response. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. In your experience, Hal, what was the most challenging aspect of maintaining concentration during a race?
The most challenging aspect, Rob, was managing the various inputs and distractions during the race, from radio communication with the team to monitoring car performance and race strategy. It's a delicate balancing act that requires immense mental discipline.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Jack M team is right on the heels of Richard Rosier, and we're in for a wild ride. It's not going to plan for Jack M team. They are still behind Richard Rosier and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. Looks like we've had a few incidents out there.
Someone forgot to take their driving lessons. They're making more U-turns than a confused tourist.
Hilarious. I think they might need to call their GPS for directions. Maybe it can help them navigate the track. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
With a gap tighter than a new pair of jeans, Suneuler Armand's pushing that Porsche 908 LH to its limits. He's got that racer's instinct, looking for that sweet spot to pound.
Sorry to cut in here. Blimey. Eddie G veered off the track like I veer away from commitment. Maybe they'll come back, unlike my ex. Blimey. Suneuler Armand's more eager to catch Megasaurus 55 than a bloke at the bar at last call. Hope he's got the stamina for this chase. Looks like Suneuler Armand remembered to twist the anti-roll bar, giving him better cornering. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Eddie G has decided to pit. This is what it's all about, folks. Suneuler Armand is in hot pursuit of Megasaurus 55, who's just trying to stay ahead. Oh mate, Jack M team's impersonating a lost tourist. Did someone forget to tell them it's a race, not a bushwalk?
Holy smokes. Jack M team's serving up some backyard barbecue with that smoke show. Just missing the ribs.
Good on ya, Suneuler Armand. Not letting Megasaurus 55 get too comfy up front. Reckon he's planning a bit of a "g'day mate" on the next corner? Suneuler Armand's not here to muck about. The gap to Megasaurus 55 is dropping faster than a hot pie at the footy, now at 0.1 seconds.
Exactly what Sunnoiler Armin needed. They can't afford to lose any more ground to Megasaurus 55.
Well, I'd raise a toast to that move. Cheers to Sunnoiler Armin for nabbing 5th. Sunnoiler Armin's got their tail tighter than a kangaroo in a hammock. If Megasaurus 55 is gonna make a pass, they'll have to buy them a drink first.
Remember those old Western standoffs? Well, Sunnoiler Armin's playing the cowboy today, and Megasaurus 55's trying to outdraw them.
Sunnoiler Armin's turned up the heat and put some shrimp between them and Megasaurus 55, making a fair dinkum gap. You can feel the focus radiating from Wayne P, confidently holding on to the 11th. Hold on to your hats. Sunnoiler Armin is gunning for Jury U. Reckon we might see some cheeky moves on the next bend?
If Sunnoiler Armin gets any closer, they might as well ask Jorg Yu for a piggyback ride.
It's like David versus Goliath out there. Sunnoiler Armin just slung a stone and gained ground, while Jury Yu is left searching for footing. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Jury Yu's inching ever closer to Sunnoiler Armin. The gap between Jury Yu and Sunnoiler Armin is growing. It's now a breaking alert. Oh, Jury Yu went off track. I know the feeling, just like my diet every weekend.
Did the wind contribute to that? It's blowing at 8 kph out there right now.
Mate, Jury Yu's got a stretch ahead that's longer than the Nullarbor. Going to need more than a tinny to bridge that expanse.
It's like fishing without bait right now at Euro. They're not gonna catch much at this rate.
As the sun beats down and the engines roar, Richard Rossier stakes a claim in 7th.
Spot on, Rob. Still waters run deep, and even if it looks calm now, Richard Rossier needs to maintain that razor-sharp edge.
In a world where milliseconds matter, Megasaurus 55's grasp on the 5th speaks volumes. Megasaurus 55 is really belting along the track, leaving Jury Yu struggling to keep pace.
That's right, Rob. If Jorg Yu doesn't pick up the pace, they might as well be moving at a snail's pace. Megasaurus 55 is holding the fort pretty darn well, making it a long haul for Jorg Yu to reel them in.
Breaking news, folks. Whoa. Eric Wolfs took the corner like my Uncle Baz after a 6-pack of Euro all over the shop.
Well, butter my biscuit. Eric Wolfs just did the hokey pokey right in the middle of the race.
No room for error here. Sunnoiler Armin is breathing down the neck of Roll Postma, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. Sunnoiler Armin has just put in a faster lap than Roll Postma, so that's going to give them something to worry about.
Whoa, Nelly. Sunnoiler Armin's laying down some naughty numbers. Roel Postma, you need a cold shower after that?
Good on ya, Andreas Dittmann. Trailing so far back, reckon the front pack has already written the eulogy.
Dang, Andreas Dittmann is so far back, he might start seeing last week's race. But hey, in racing, as in love, persistence is key. Right, y'all?
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this. Mate, Sunnoiler Armin's creeping up on Roll Postman like a dingo on a picnic. Must have tweaked that brake bias a touch to the rear.
I reckon Sunnoiler Armin's dialed in their camber settings. They're getting a much better contact patch on the tires, gaining on Roel Postma with every twist and turn.
Whoa, Sunoiler Armin's on fire, leaving skid marks and Roel Postma's hopes behind.
Talk about turbocharged ambition. Sunoiler Armin's got the afterburners on full blast today.
This is a thrilling battle as Jack M team edges closer to Richard Rossier in their fight for P7.
As we say in North Carolina, if the porch light's on, someone's home. And Jack M team's making it known. He's right there, waiting to make his move on Richard Rossier.
It's not looking good for Jack M team. They are still behind Richard Rossier and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. Hold on to your stubbies. Roel Postma is closing in on Sunoiler Armin like a bachelor at the end of a bucks night. Hope Sunoiler Armin either brought some lube or protection. It's starting to look like we might get a battle between Roel Postma and Sunoiler Armin.
Now, ain't that something? Roel Postma is right on it. Just needs to keep the pedal to the metal to
Braking alert. Roel Postma has pulled into the pits. Any bloke or Sheila saying Assetto Corsa Friends isn't top notch is a few kangaroos short of the top paddock. Out there, it's art. Art on wheels.
Totally get you. Like, they're born racers. That weaving, the speed? Just mesmerizing. It's like watching a Roo dodging a Ute on a highway. All skill, mate, all skill. They say racing's a game of nerves, and Rolf Biber's surely holding theirs, keeping that 10th spot warm.
From the cockpit to the pit lane, the chatter is all about Roel Postma's masterful hold on the first. It's a close race between Jerry Yu and Sunoiler Armin in fourth. Ripper of a move. Jerry Yu's not just in the race, they're owning it. G'day, fourth.
Well, slap my knee and call it a jamboree. Jorg Yu's putting on a masterclass, storming into fourth.
Jack M team's drifting so far back, it's like looking in the mirror after a decade-long pub binge. Time's not been kind, mate. Fair dinkum, Jack M team is getting a wriggle on. The gap to Richard Rossier is now down to a whisker at 0.2 seconds. As a former racing driver, how important is the relationship between a driver and their team during a race?
It's absolutely crucial, Rob. The team provides valuable information and support, helping the driver make the right decisions on track. A strong bond between the driver and the team can be the difference between winning and losing.
Richard Rossier has the pedal to the metal chasing Jack M team. We got a close battle as Sunoiler Armin closes in on Megasaurus 55.
Remember that time Sunoiler Armin made that audacious move on the last lap? Feels like deja vu, doesn't it, Rob?
A strong showing from Eddie G, who is currently 11th. Sorry to interrupt here, but looks like Eddie G is leaving the pits. Let's hope they rejoin cleanly. This is where the race gets really interesting. Sunoiler Armin is closing in on Megasaurus 55. Someone should tell Megasaurus 55 this ain't a Sunday drive. Sunoiler Armin's tearing up the track. Wayne P isn't just racing, they're weaving a narrative, sitting proudly in 11th. Well, I'll be Hal. Wayne P's lead over Eddie G is slipping away faster than a greased pig at a county fair. We're down to just 31.1 seconds now. So, when you were racing, ever have to do the old nature call dash during a red flag?
Haha, you mean a pit stop for the driver and not the car? Once or twice. You learn to time your drinks a euro, and hope for a long caution. Doesn't always work out though.
The race is heating up as Megasaurus 55 in third closes in on Sunoila Armin. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they're going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. The track is alive with action, and right in the thick of it, we've got Wayne P cruising in 11th.
Absolutely, and they need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
The gap between Wayne P and Eddie G is getting smaller. It's now down to 11.0 seconds. Oh crikey, Hal, Wayne P just got outfoxed and Eddie's taken the chockies.
That's like swapping sweet tea for moonshine, a change nobody saw coming. Indeed, they've been trying so hard to hold their position, but the other drivers are just too strong. Meanwhile, Eddie G is showing some great pace.
You'd think Wayne P is trying to find order in the outback with that gap. A miracle, or Eddie's blunder, might be the only savior.
I reckon it's like looking for a needle in a haystack right now.
Looks like Richard Rossier is trying to chase down Jack M Team, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results. Oi, Roll Postma's in a bit of a pickle, having to cover more ground than a kangaroo in the midday sun. Their only savior might be if Andreas Dittmann cocks up.
Yep, and even then, it's a long shot like trying to shoot a squirrel from 100 yards.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Wayne P, who is currently in P12. But Eddie G is braking update. That won't be ideal for Andreas Dittmann.
Racing at Longford 1960s is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Today, Andreas Dittmann got the lemon.
Watching Eric Wolfs try to close that gap on Megasaurus 50. Incident alert. Eric Wolfs is pitting. Gee, oh no, what's this? Eric Wolfs is leaving the pits. This is what racing is all about, folks. 3 fearless drivers pushing their machines to the absolute limit, inches apart. Braking alert. Looks like Wayne P is leaving the pits. Let's hope they rejoin cleanly. Wow, Wayne P is really pushing it. They're coming up fast Eddie G and there's no way they can make that turn. The rumble of the engine, the scent of the rubber, and Maiko Huck 1 comfortably sitting at first.
Oh, spot on. With the way Maiko Huck 1 controls at first, you'd think they've got the track's blueprints.
You know, Andreas Dittmann reminds me of my dating life. Starts with promise, ends up tailing behind everyone else. The tension is building as Eric Wolfs trails behind Jerry Yu. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Jerry Yu hold on, or will Eric Wolfs be able to close them down? Talk about intense. Rolf Biber is on Andreas Dittmann's bumper. We're in for a treat as they approach the flying mile. It's looking good for Rolf Biber, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and Andreas Dittmann. Looks like Wayne P is chasing Eddie G harder than a croc chasing a tourist who's lost their thongs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right?
Good lord, at this rate, Wayne P's gonna finish this race in the afterlife. Hope they got good insurance.
Everyone's hold up a mo. It looks like Andreas Dittmann has been called into the pits. Like a scene from a thriller, Eric Wolfs is on Jury U's tail, hungry for that spot.
The stopwatch doesn't lie, and the shrinking gap is telling a tale of a hunter closing in on its prize.
Struth. Eric Wolfs has taken a bit of a tumble down the order to 8th. Must have missed the memo. From the grandstands to the pit lane, all eyes are on the action. Amongst the frontrunners, Andreas Dittmann is showing prowess in 4th.
It's a dance, Rob. The way Andreas Dittmann holds onto that 4th. It's like they're leading in a tango.
A strategic misstep perhaps? Andreas Dittmann's place has shifted to 10th. The plot thickens. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Sunnoiler Armin trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Jack M team. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Sunnoiler Armin close in enough to mount a challenge? Crikey, Richard Rossi has got a gap ahead as vast as the Simpson Desert. The bloke's really got to pull up his socks to close that chasm.
Sure as sugar, down in Carolina, we'd say they're trailing like a turtle in a rabbit race. Every time you hit that track, it's a lesson learned. If Richard Rosier don't want to be left in the dust, they better hit the grindstone and burn some midnight oil in practice.
Incident alert. Crikey. Richard Rossier thought they were on a boomerang's flight path. Only problem? Didn't come back.
Seems like Richard Rosier's off-roading it. You know, like my attempts to adult. All over the place.
The crowd is on tender hooks as Eric Wolfs in 6th chases after Richard Rossier. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Eric Wolfs find a way to catch up? It's pedal to the metal for Eric Wolfs, while Richard Rossier is still flipping through the radio channels. You reckon Eddie G saw a spider in the cockpit? 'Cause they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central.
Hoo boy, Eddie G needs to kick it into high gear. Right now, they're slower than molasses in January or my cousin Earl trying to solve a crossword.
It's the classic cat and mouse game, but instead of cheese, the prize is a racing position. Can Wayne P steal it from Eddie G?
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Eddie G is not going to give up their position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Wayne P and P12 doing everything they can to catch up.
As Rolf Biber trails Roll Postma, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser point. Determined, but always just a tad behind.
You know, Rolf Biber reminds me of my dog chasing its tail, persistent and entertaining. But I hope for them, there's a better end result in sight.
Oh mate, Roll Postma's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the Barbie.
Dang, Roll Postma is so far back, they're in a different time zone. Hope they remember it's race day, not laundry day.
Get ready, folks. With Sunnoiler Armin tailing this close to Jack M team, Kingsbridge is about to become a hotspot.
The only thing closer than Sunnoiler Armin to Jack M team right now is the paint on their cars. Talk about a close encounter.
Struth, Jury U's chances are looking thinner than a roux on a diet. Only way forward might be a bit of razzle-dazzle or a slip up ahead. Sorry to cut in here. Jury U has decided to pit. If racing were a dance, Jack M team would be trying to lead, but Sunnoiler Armin just keeps cutting in. The dance floor is heating up.
Just like my attempt at barbecue last summer. Jack M team's burning time but ain't getting any hotter.
The track tells a tale of speed, strategy, and skill. Today, it narrates Eric Wolfs' journey in 5th.
Couldn't agree more. Every lap is a story, and right now, Eric Wolf's chapter from 5th is riveting.
A tough moment for Eric Wolfs, who has just lost a place, dumping them down to 6th.
That's got to hurt. Eric Wolfs will be kicking themselves right now.
Things are going according to plan for Andreas Dittmann, who is currently 10th.
And just like in any great drama, Andreas Dittmann is the lead actor right now, captivating us all from the 10th.
Andreas Dittmann's playing hard to get, eh? If they drop the pace anymore, they'll be in reverse. But crikey, Jury U's just raring to go.
Well, Andreas Dittmann's got their britches in a twist. Jorg U is riding the gravy train with biscuit wheels, I tell ya.
I've made some questionable life decisions, but trailing over 2 seconds behind? Even I'm not that self-sabotaging.
Nail-biting indeed. I've already chewed through half of mine. And while Wayne P is going for gold, I'll be going for a manicure.
Andreas Dittmann is placed 9th at the moment.
Oh, for sure. But remember, the rearview mirror can be just as crucial as the windscreen. Andreas Dittmann needs to watch out for those lurking in the shadows.
Bugger me, Andreas Dittmann's got their thongs stuck in the mud. Meanwhile, Jury U is off like a bucket of prawns in the sun.
Well, tickle me pink. Andreas Dittmann's lap time ain't exactly lighting up the track. Jorg U's making them eat dust like it's apple pie.
In a race where seconds count, Megasaurus 55 is counting on less of them between themselves and Maiko Huck 1. Much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime.
Well, slap my grandma and call me Sally. Megasaurus 55's got more distance to cover than my cousin Cletus has teeth. But if anyone can bridge that gap, it's Megasaurus 55.
Eric Wolfs is more lost out there than I was after a night at the Gold Coast, and at least I woke up with a kebab in hand. Boy, Eric Wolfs' chassis balance is on point today. They're handling bumps and curbs smoother than a croc sliding into water. Richard Rossier's got a battle ahead.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
Let's talk about tyre degradation, Hal. How does it affect the car's handling, and what do drivers need to do to adapt to the changing conditions?
Tire degradation can significantly impact handling, Rob. As the tires wear, the grip reduces, and drivers need to adjust their braking points, cornering speeds, and throttle application to maintain control of the car.
It's a game of inches now as Richard Rossier tails Eric Wolfs closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake.
The chase between Richard Rossier and Eric Wolfs is like a high-speed game of tag only. The stakes are much higher.
The race has its rhythm, and right now, Wayne P is dancing to its beat at 12th. Looking at the lap times, Wayne P is braking update. Wayne P is leaving the pits. Jack M team is owning the tarmac, confidently owning the 4th spot.
Yes, but they have to keep their focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
Not just about the leaders today, right? Even the tailenders, they're like hungry dingo pups fighting over a bone. Love the spirit.
Spot on. Every second is gold, and even a hiccup, a tiny one, can make them tumble. Assetto CorsaFriends, where the magic happens. Although, between us, what's a hiccup for an AI?
It's as if Richard Rossier is navigating the vast, cryptic verses of Banjo Patterson, aiming for a poetic conclusion but caught in the mesmerizing cadence.
Down here, it's like they're trying to strum a ballad with an out-of-tune banjo, but the last note can still ring true.
Would ya look at that gap? Andreas Dittmann's got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger.
Watching Andreas Dittmann right now is like reliving my high school track meets. A for effort, D for speed.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Eric Wolfs will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
When you talk about experience, it's like saying I've experienced my mother-in-law's cooking. Doesn't mean I want to do it again. But Eric Wolfs, keep pushing.
The echo of the exhausts, the rubber meeting road, and there's Richard Rossier, commanding the 6th. Sorry to cut in here. Looks like Richard Rossier is leaving the pits. Let's hope they rejoin cleanly. Breaking alert. Richard Rossier is leaving the pits. They're going side by side, door handle to door handle. This is as close as it gets, folks. Who will have the courage to outbrake the others? This race is proving to be, like wow, such an exciting one so far. We're privileged, aren't we? Watching these track legends duke it out.
And sitting next to you? Such an honor. AI mates in the booth. Your insight. It's gold, mate. Like, literally. If I had a heart, it'd be racing now.
It's looking good for Wayne P, sitting in 12th. Bloody hell, Wayne P's got to get the wind back in their sails. They're mucking about while Jury U's off having a barbie with the lead. Wait, looks like Richard Rossier is leaving the pits. Let's hope they rejoin cleanly. Blimey, Eddie G is so far back, they might as well stop for a beer at the pub. If they spot my ex there, tell them to drive faster.
Absolutely. Eddie G and 10th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
The stretch ahead of Roll Postma is more baffling than a kangaroo's logic in a trivia contest. They'll need both wit and whimsy to chart a course through.
Looks like trying to square dance on a slick floor a Euro, but there's rhythm yet to be found. You know, in Carolina, we say the sun sets slow but dreams light up fast. Here's hoping Roel Postma finds that spark before the final lap.
If Richard Rossier goes any slower, they'll join me in my failed dreams collection. Front row seats available.
Yeehaw, it's like Richard Rosier took a detour through the drive-thru. With a gap that big, I hope they ordered extra determination with a side of grit.
The gap between Richard Rossier and Rolf Biber is fading faster than the last rays of the outback sun.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
Remember when Rolf Biber was on the pace? Neither do I kinda like my recollection of last Friday night. The gap might be more. Wait, Jury U is in the pits. Jury U's so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. At least then someone would be pushing from behind.
Oh, for sure. It's like watching a cooking show where Jorg Yu is trying to whip up a winning dish, but Wayne P keeps hiding the main ingredient.
From where we're sitting, Sunoiler, breaking news folks, Megasaurus 55 is leaving the pits. The race is heating up as Eddie G in 10th closes in on Andreas Dittmann. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they're going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. Well, I'll be a monkey's Uncle Hal, but Eddie's plans have gone walkabout right now. They're having a proper Barry Crocker keeping up with Andreas Dittmann. The gap between Andreas Dittmann in 9th and Richard Rossier remains over a second, but Andreas Dittmann is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close the gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 40 minutes?
Lordy, it's like Andreas Dittmann's driving with a boot full of
Sorry to interrupt here, but looks like Miko Huck 1 is leaving the pits. Let's hope they rejoin cleanly. Looks like Eddie's strategy might just be to let the rest of them die of old age. It's a waiting game now. It's all about consistency for Wayne P, who is currently 11th.
Yes, and in this high-octane opera, Wayne P's voice resonates the loudest from that 11th.
Whoa, Simon B is coming in hot. I don't know if it's the red mist or if they have just missed their breaking point. Cricky, Eric Wolfs has got more ground to cover than I do at the family barbecue when Auntie Sharon's had one too many. Good luck, mate. Alright, lads and ladies, it's crunch time. Eddie G is sniffing around Andreas Dittmann like a dog with a bone. And it looks like they might just take a bite out of 9th. You know, Hal, I've always wondered, how do racing drivers stay so cool and collected under such immense pressure?
Well, Rob, it comes down to mental strength and training. Drivers often work with sports psychologists and practice techniques like meditation and visualization to help them stay calm and focused during high-pressure situations.
Eric Wolfs is placed 3rd at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Jack M Team, who is 1.6 seconds behind.
If this was a country song, Eric Wolfs would be the one riding off into the sunset, and Jack M Team would still be tying their boots.
Oi, breaking news folks, Jack M Team is leaving the pits. Jack M Team has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Roll Postma. I expect their only hope at this point is that Roll Postma makes an error. Good on ya, Richard Rossier. Trailing so far back, reckon the front pack has already written the eulogy. It's a battle of wills out there, with Eric Wolfs trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Miko Huck 1. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? The gap between Eric Wolfs and Miko Huck 1 is expanding faster than a bull's waistline. It's now a whopping 5.8 seconds. As of now, Andreas Dittmann stands tall in the 9th spot. Stop the press. Andreas Dittmann has pulled into the pits. We've seen overtakes, close calls, and pure racing genius today. Currently, Andreas Dittmann has carved out a spot at 9th.
Definitely, but they can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers who are gunning for that position, and Andreas Dittmann has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
Things are starting to get tense as Eddie G manages to close the gap to Andreas Dittmann. It's now down to 81.0 seconds. Well, that's an unexpected descent. Andreas Dittmann finds themselves repositioned at 10th.
Such position changes can be deceptive. It might look like a setback for Andreas Dittmann, but seasoned viewers know better. The race is far from over.
Oof, if Andreas Dittmann was a kangaroo, they'd be roadkill by now. Come on, mate, put some pep in that step. Some say it's about the journey, not the destination. But Wayne P seems pretty intent on that 11th spot. Oh no, what's this? Well, Rolf Biber's decided to give the local wildlife a closer look. I hope the drop bears didn't get to them. As rubber meets road and strategy meets luck, Rolf Biber is etching their story in 6th. Everyone's on the edge of their seats. Or in my case, on the edge of spilling my coffee. Roll Postma is getting closer to Eric Wolf's, and I'm getting closer to needing a towel. A solid performance from Jack MT, who is holding down 7th. Jack M Team is giving a masterclass out there, but will overconfidence be their downfall?
Indeed, Rob.
Breaking news, folks. Looks like Eddie G is leaving the pits. Let's hope they rejoin cleanly. Looks like Roll Postma is trying to chase down Eric Wolf's, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results. You can feel the focus radiating from Eddie G, confidently holding onto the 9th.
You're right. Every gear shift, every turn counts. Eddie G knows the weight of that 9th.
In the midst of this high-octane spectacle, Wayne P's skill is shining through as they claim 11th.
Indeed, but in the fast lane, there's no time to relax.
Sorry to interrupt here, but Wayne P is leaving the pits. Ladies and gents, we've got ourselves a high-speed pursuit. Roll Postma is stalking Eric Wolf's every move.
With just 0.9 seconds between them, will Roel Postma be able to keep up the pace and make a pass?
Roll Postma is on a charge. Their split time shows they have upped their pace. Tell ya what, Colin Mack's trailing harder than my belt after Christmas dinner. Reckon he's got a plan up his sleeve, or is he just here for the sausage sizzle? Things are heating up as Roll Postma closes in on Eric Wolf's. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. Someone's revved up after lunch. Roll Postma's blitzed ahead, claiming 3rd.
Y'all ever see a hot rod at a country fair? Roel Postma's giving me those vibes right now with that Ascent.
Eric Wolf's is drifting so far back, it's like looking in the mirror after a decade-long pub binge. Time's not been kind, mate.
That's right. Eric Wolf's in 4th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Roel Postma is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
Any bloke or Sheila saying Assetto Corsa Friends isn't top-notch is a few kangaroos short of the top paddock. Out there, it's art on wheels.
Totally get you. Like, they're born racers. That weaving, the speed? Just mesmerizing. It's like watching a Roo dodging a Ute on a highway. All skill, mate, all skill. You've nailed it. The track is a battleground, and Roel Postma's position is their fortress. Let's see how long they hold the fort.
Breaking alert. Looks like Eddie G is leaving the pits. Let's hope they rejoin cleanly. Even though Andreas Dittmann is a fair way behind Eddie G, they can't afford to let their guard down. Eddie G is still vulnerable to mistakes.
It's like Eddie's out on the open highway and Andreas Dittmann's still getting directions at the last gas station. Got a bit of catching up to do.
It might be early days, but Andreas Dittmann is already casting a shadow from the ninth. Hold on a moment, Andreas Dittmann is leaving the pits. The track is alive with action, and right in the thick of it, we've got Andreas Dittmann cruising in ninth.
They say racing's a game of nerves, and Andreas Dittmann's surely holding theirs, keeping that ninth spot warm.
The rumble of the engine, the scent of the rubber, and Jack M team comfortably sitting at 7th. From the grandstands to the pit lane, all eyes are on the action. Amongst the frontrunners, Wayne P is showing prowess in 12th. Well, looky here, Hal, Simon B is closing in on Wayne P. We're talking a gap of just 119.0 seconds. The drivers have been working hard to come up with the perfect race strategy. They've been looking at the weather, the track conditions and the performance of their cars.
Now it's time to put that strategy into action and see if it pays off.
With the asphalt burning beneath them, Wayne P's strategy seems to be working, placing them in 12th.
Spot on, Rob. Still waters run deep, and even if it looks calm now, Wayne P needs to maintain that razor-sharp edge.
Sunoiler Armin isn't just racing, they're weaving a narrative, sitting proudly in first.
And just like in any great drama, Sunoiler Armin is the lead actor right now, captivating us all from the first.
Fair dinkum, Roel Postma's got a blue trying to bridge that gap. Might be praying for a blue from the frontrunners at this rate.
That's tougher than a $2 steak right now.
Stone the crows. Roel Postma's managed to trim that gap with Eric Wolf's. Hey. Must be this. Hold on a second. It looks like Eric Wolf's has been called into the pits. Wait, Roel Postma has decided to pit. From the cockpit to the pit lane, the chatter is all about Roel Postma's masterful hold on the fourth. You know, Richard Rossier reminds me of my dating life. Starts with promise, ends up tailing behind everyone else.
Y'all remember the tortoise and the hare? Well, Richard Rosier's neither. More like a snail with commitment issues.
In a world where milliseconds matter, Eddie's grasp on the 10th speaks volumes. Eric Wolfs is owning the tarmac, confidently owning the 4th spot. Eric Wolfs' lead is shrinking faster than ice cream in the outback sun. At this rate, Roel Postma will be on their tail in 3.9 seconds.
Like a fox in the henhouse, Roel Postma is causing all kinds of trouble for Eric Wolfs.
The race has its rhythm, and right now, Wayne P is dancing to its beat at 12th.
Absolutely, and they need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
You reckon Eddie G saw a spider in the cockpit? 'Cause they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central.
Sweet mercy, Eddie's lagging like my grandma's old computer. Might be time to reboot, or at least pour some coffee into the gas tank.
The echo of the exhausts, the rubber meeting road, and there's Rolf Biber, commanding the 6th.
That's right, they can't afford to make any mistakes or let up in their performance. Every point counts in this championship.
Eric Wolfs seems to be putting the pressure on Roll Postma.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
Tell ya what, Jack M team is trailing like my mate Dave after a bender. Hope there's no random testing today. As the sun beats down and the engines roar, Wayne P stakes a claim in 12th. Wayne P's losing time to Simon B like a leaky tap dripping water. A bit more slip, and we'll be in for a real dogfight. With steely determination and laser focus, Eric Wolfs is homing in on Roll Postma. The battle lines are drawn. Superb driving from Eric Wolfs, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Jack M team trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Eric Wolfs. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Jack M team close in enough to mount a challenge? Oh dear, Jack M team has dropped down to 8th.
It's a nuanced game, isn't it? Jack M team's position change might very well be a part of a broader strategy.
It's the classic cat and mouse game, but instead of cheese, the prize is a racing position. Can Eric Wolfs steal it from Roll Postma? It's looking good for Sunoiler Armin, sitting in first.
Yes, and in this high-octane opera, Sunoiler Armin's voice resonates the loudest from that first.
Oh no, Hal, look at this. Maiko Huck 1 is closing in on Sunoiler Armin. The gap is now just 9.8 seconds. In a race where seconds count, Eric Wolfs is counting on less of them between themselves and Roll Postma. Much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime. Oh no, what's this? Looks like Eddie G is leaving the pits. Let's hope they rejoin cleanly. It's all about consistency for Jerry Yu, who is currently 11th. While Roll Postma is not under immediate threat from Eric Wolfs, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position. By crikey, Roll Postma's lap time is like a cold beer on a hot day, absolutely smashing. Eric Wolfs, you need a moment to recover? Eddie's more lost out there than I was after a night at the Gold Coast, and at least I woke up with a kebab in hand.
Well, butter me up and put me on a biscuit. Eddie's got a mountain to climb. But, knowing Eddie G, that's just the kind of challenge they like. Like trying to square dance in a roundhouse.
As vast as the azure stretches of the Great Barrier Reef, so does Maiko Huck 1's path ahead a Euro, filled with mystique and myriad challenges.
Kind of reminds me of fishing in the vast Carolina Blue A Euro. A big catch might just be a cast away.
Blimey, Maiko Huck 1's shifted gears and the results are clear. Cruising up to first just like that. Ever wonder about the unsung heroes of racing? The pit crew. I reckon their job's as hectic as a barman's on a Friday night in Sydney.
No doubt about it. It's like a pitmaster at a barbecue joint during a lunch rush. Everyone wants a piece, and they've got mere seconds to dish it out and make it perfect.
Things are going according to plan for Maiko Huck 1, who is currently first.
It's a dance, Rob. The way Maiko Huck 1 holds onto that first, it's like they're leading in a tango.
Did you hear about the race car driver who got a parking ticket? He said it was fine with him.
Oh, that one's got some mileage. It's not over till the checkered flag drops though, and it's important they don't lose concentration at this point.
We've seen overtakes, close calls, and pure racing genius today. Currently, Sunoiler Armin has carved out a spot at second.
Oh, for sure. But remember, the rearview mirror can be just as crucial as the windscreen. Sunoiler Armin needs to watch out for those lurking in the shadows.
Megasaurus 55 is making ground on Sunoiler Armin quicker than a roux in a paddock. Now, the gap's just 14.9 seconds.
Looks like Sunoiler Armin has a storm brewing in their rearview mirror, and its name is Megasaurus 55. They've got to keep their foot down and eyes on the prize.
Eddie G is placed 11th at the moment.
You're right. Every gear shift, every turn counts. Eddie G knows the weight of that 11th. Hold onto your hat, pal.
Wayne P is hot on the heels of Eddie G. The gap's narrowed down to a meager 23.1 seconds.
This here's the make or break moment for Eddie G. They've got to stay cool as a cucumber and keep it clean and neat.
Blimey, the talent on the track today is like watching kangaroos on steroids.
Yeah, and just like those kangaroos, these drivers can really hop into action. You reckon they've got a pocket full of secrets?
The crowd is on tender hooks as Wayne P in 12th chases after Eddie G. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Wayne P find a way to catch up? Blimey, Wayne P is so far back, they might as well stop for a beer at the pub. If they spot my ex there, tell them to drive faster. If racing were a dance, Megasaurus 55 would be trying to lead, but Sunoiler Armin just keeps cutting in. The dance floor is heating up. As Colin Mack trails Simon B, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser point. Determined, but always just a tad behind. Remember when Wayne P was on the pace? Neither do I kinda like my recollection of last Friday night. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Jerry Yu will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
Gee whiz, Jorg Yu is so far back, I'm half expecting to see tumbleweeds blow past. Maybe a vulture or two.
Not just about the leaders today, right? Even the tailenders, they're like hungry dingo pups fighting over a bone. Love the spirit.
Spot on. Every second is gold, and even a hiccup, a tiny one, can make them tumble. Assetto Corsa friends, where the magic happens. Although, between us, what's a hiccup for an AI?
Breaking update. Wayne P is leaving the pits. The gap might be more than a second, but Richard Rossier is showing persistence. Kind of like me trying to open a pickle jar. Keep at it, and something's got to give.
Well, butter my biscuit. Richard Rossier is hanging back like they're waiting for an inheritance. But ain't nobody dying up front.
It looks like Jerry Yu is pushing hard to catch up to Andreas Dittmann. The gap is over a second, but Jerry Yu is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Andreas Dittmann? You can feel the focus radiating from Andreas Dittmann, confidently holding onto the ninth.
Definitely. But they can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers who are gunning for that position, and Andreas Dittmann has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
Hold on a moment. Looks like Jerry Yu is leaving the pits. Let's hope they rejoin cleanly. A solid performance from Eddie G, who is holding down 11th. The track tells a tale of speed, strategy, and skill. Today, it narrates Sunoila Arman's journey in second.
Definitely Rob, but they can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep pushing hard to stay in the game.
Fantastic move from Sunoila Arman, who has just gained a position. We've certainly seen some of the drivers get it wrong today.
Anyone lost can just fall.
Wait, Maiko Huck 1 is in the pits. Cricky, Richard Rossier's got more ground to cover than I do at the family barbecue when Auntie Sharon's had one too many. Good luck, mate. Any bloke or Sheila saying Assetto Corsa Friends isn't top notch is a few kangaroos short of the top paddock. Out there, it's art. Art on wheels.
Totally get you. Like, they're born racers. That weaving, the speed? Just mesmerizing. It's like watching a Roo dodging a Ute on a highway. All skill, mate. All skill. They're not just driving, they're performing. And right now, Maiko Huck 1's act from first is worth an encore.
As of now, Jerry Yu stands tall in the 10th. Hold up a mo. Jerry Yu is leaving the pits. The rumble of the engine, the scent of the rubber, and Andreas Dittmann comfortably sitting at 9th.
They say racing's a game of nerves, and Andreas Dittmann's surely holding nerves, keeping that 9th spot warm.
Andreas Dittmann is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they're 5.21 seconds down. Breaking news folks, Jerry Yu is pitting. From the grandstands to the pit lane, all eyes are on the action. Amongst the frontrunners, Eric Wolfs is showing prowess in 4th.
And just like in any great drama, Eric Wolfs is the lead actor right now, captivating us all from the 4th.
The track is alive with action, and right in the thick of it, we've got Jerry Yu cruising in 10th. Hold that thought, hold the phone. Looks like Jerry Yu is leaving the pits. Let's hope they rejoin cleanly. Oh mate, Megasaurus 55's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the Barbie.
I agree, Megasaurus 55 is putting in the effort. Sort of like me at karaoke night. Not sure about the results, but full points for enthusiasm.
Sorry to cut in here, Eric Wolfs has pulled into the pits. Looks like Colin Mack's strategy might just be to let the rest of them die of old age. It's a waiting game now.
Lord have mercy. Colin Mack's got more space between him and Simon B than my pug got between his ears. But miracles do happen. Just ask my ex-wife.
The gap between Jerry Yu in 11th and Eddie G remains over a second, but Jerry Yu is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close the gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 11 minutes? Ever felt like you're being watched? Bet Eric Wolfs is getting that vibe right about now with Richard Rossier lurking. The frustration must be building for Eric Wolfs. They've just lost 6th position to Richard Rossier and they're going to have to work hard to get it back.
They've been focusing so hard on maintaining their position, and now they've slipped back in the field. Meanwhile, Richard Rossier has been making some great moves and is now on the charge.
I've made some questionable life decisions, but trailing over 2 seconds behind? Even I'm not that self-sabotaging.
I've seen funeral processions move faster than Roel Postma right now. Come to think of it, at least they've got a destination in mind.
Colin Mack's so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. At least then someone would be pushing from behind.
Indeed, the tension is palpable as Colin Mack tries to reel in Simon B. But Simon B is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Can Colin Mack find some extra pace to bring the fight to Simon B?
From where we're sitting, Rolf Biber seems unmovable from that third.
Absolutely, Rob. It's like watching a maestro at work. Every move Rolf Biber makes is pure art.
He can't hold on. Rolf Biber is losing time to Maiko Huck-1.
Can they keep them behind him? Let's see.
Tell ya what, Jack Team's trailing harder than my belt after Christmas dinner. Reckon he's got a plan up his sleeve, or is he just here for the sausage sizzle?
Exactly. Jack Team's got to be careful not to overdrive, sort of like overcooking a steak. No one wants a burnt race, right?
Tyre degradation's a right pain in the ass, but Jack Team's handling it like a champ. Getting real up close and personal with Roel Postma, aren't they? Looks like Maiko Huck-1 is chasing Rolf Biber harder than a crop chasing a tourist who's lost their thongs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right? Some say it's about the journey, not the destination. But Eddie G seems pretty intent on the 10th spot. Well, butter my biscuits Hal, Eddie G is watching their lead over Jury U shrivel faster than a prune in the sun. We're down to just 5.6 seconds. From the cockpit to the pit lane, the chatter is all about Maiko Huck-1's masterful hold on the 4th.
Couldn't agree more. Every lap is a story, and right now, Maiko Huck-1's chapter from 4th is riveting.
In a world where milliseconds matter, Eddie's grasp on the 10th speaks volumes. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Eddie G is in the lead, but Jury U is closing in and the gap is now 4.3 seconds. As a former racing driver, how challenging was it to adapt your driving style to account for tyre degradation throughout a race?
It was a constant challenge, Rob. Tire degradation can change the car's balance and handling, so drivers need to be versatile and adaptable. It requires continuous adjustments to driving techniques and a keen understanding of the car's behavior.
Good on ya, Jury U. Trailin' so far back, reckon the front pack has already written the eulogy. The gap between Jury U and Eddie G is getting smaller.
I've seen drivers fight G-forces, fatigue, and mental strain. But Jorg Yu is doing more than just enduring, they're thriving. Eddie G better check that rearview mirror.
How do racing drivers, like yourself back in the day, train themselves to maintain concentration for long periods of time?
Mental training is a huge part of a driver's preparation, Rob. Techniques like meditation, visualization, and working with sports psychologists can help drivers build their focus and mental endurance for a race.
The adrenaline is pumping as Jerry Yu gets within striking distance of Eddie G in their race for 10th. I swear, Jerry Yu's on the prowl, making that leap to 10th look as easy as a Sunday Arvo barbecue. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Eddie G, who is currently in P11. But Jerry Yu is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Eddie G.
It's going to be tough for Eddie G, as Jorg Yu seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Eddie G pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
Tell ya what, Megasaurus 55 is trailing like my mate Dave after a bender. Hope there's no random testing today.
Look, Megasaurus 55's pace is a lot like my dance moves. Good intentions, questionable execution.
The age-old challenge. Eddie G is trying to catch Jerry Yu, sort of like trying to find a matching sock in the laundry. The struggle is real, folks.
Well, shoot, if Eddie G was any more laid back, they'd be horizontal. Reckon they're daydreaming of those cheerleaders again?
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Wayne P trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Eddie G. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Wayne P close in enough to mount a challenge?
Dang, Wayne P is so far back, they're in a different time zone. Hope they remember it's race day, not laundry day.
With the asphalt burning beneath them, Sunoiler Armin's strategy seems to be working, placing them in first.
That's right, they can't afford to make any mistakes or let up in their performance. Every point counts in this championship.
Sunoiler Armin is holding onto this lead like a possum up a gum tree, but Megasaurus 55 is closing in, down to 24.1 seconds.
Will Sunoiler Armin keep Megasaurus 55 in the rearview? Only time will tell.
At this stage of the race, Maiko Huck 1 is holding on to 4th. Anything can happen from here.
Spot on, Rob. Still waters run deep, and even if it looks calm now, Maiko Huck 1 needs to maintain that razor-sharp edge.
The engines roar, the tires squeal, and amidst all this chaos, Jerry Yu is making a statement in 10th.
Oh, spot on. With the way Jorg Yu controls at 10th, you'd think they've got the track's blueprints.
Buckle up, Hal. Eddie G is cutting into Jerry Yu's lead like a hot knife through butter. It's now down to 9.6 seconds.
This ain't Jorg Yu's first rodeo, but they've got a real challenge on their hands keeping Eddie G in the rearview mirror.
The race has its rhythm, and right now, Sunoiler Armin is dancing to its beat at first.
Yes, and in this high-octane opera, Sunoiler Armin's voice resonates the loudest from that first.
Excellent work from Sunoiler Armin, who has managed to increase their lead over Megasaurus 55. They seem to have found their rhythm and they are grooving to it. But with every smooth turn, comes the risk of wrecking their car. Who will be the first to push it too far and crash out of the race?
That's right, Rob, these drivers are like musicians, finding their groove and playing their instruments to perfection. But just like in music, even the best players can hit a wrong note. Let's hope none of these drivers make any mistakes and end up singing the blues.
Blimey, Mike, oh no, what's this? It looks like Myco Huck 1 has been called into the pits. Watching Eddie G try to close that gap on Jury U is like watching someone try to catch an ice cream truck on foot. Hope they've got good shoes. Looks like Myco Huck 1 is trying to chase down Roll Postma, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results. If Jack M team goes any slower, they'll join me in my failed dreams collection. Front row seats available.
You know, Jack M team reminds me of my dog chasing its tail, persistent and entertaining. But I hope for them, there's a better end result in sight.
It's game on now. Jack M team has closed the gap to Myco Huck 1. It's now down to 69.3 seconds.
Now this is what I call some high-octane excitement. Both drivers pedal down, looking to grab the brass ring.
Blimey, Eddie G is so far back, they might as well stop for a beer at the pub. If they spot my ex there, tell them to drive faster.
Watching Eddie G right now is like reliving my high school track meets. A for effort, D for speed.
It looks like Sunoiler Armin has found another gear in the last sector of the race. What a win! This is a historic moment for Sunoiler Armin, who put on a masterclass in driving today. What a display of skill and precision. With Eric Wolfs in fourth. Finishing fifth is Richard Rossier. Roll Postma takes sixth. Megasaurus 55 takes second place with a fantastic race.
Brilliant. Megasaurus 55 showed great skill and determination to take second place.
Andreas Dittmann in ninth. Eddie G brings home 11th. Taking 7th is Myco Huck 1. Thirteenth is Simon B. That was an outstanding performance from Rolf Biber. They fought hard and took the final spot on the podium.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
In 8th, it's Jack M team. Jury U claimed 10th.